Hi everyone! Well, it's been about 4 days since I built this compost pile right behind me here. I'm keeping it covered to keep the heat in and to keep the critters out. We built it in a compost sack, and today it's time to check in to make sure it's getting hot. And I'm also going to share what it takes to maintain a hot compost pile so you get that black garden gold even faster. So if you missed the first video, make sure to go back and watch it so you know exactly how to build your compost pile. I shared 5 tips on how to build a pile that breaks down faster. Number 1, we built it nice and tall. A tall pile will get hotter, which will break down your materials faster. Number 2, we used the right materials, a good mixture of greens and browns. Number 3, we chopped up our materials nice and small. Number 4, we added water so they're nice and moist like a wrung out sponge. And number 5, we mixed them together to introduce air. Well, believe it or not, there's actually a lot going on under that black cover. As long as those 5 tips are in place, your compost pile will be heating up, and those tiny organisms called microbes will be busily reproducing and eating all the organic matter you put into your compost pile and turning it into light, fluffy soil. So let's open it up and see if it's getting hot. So first off, let's just get the cover off the Smart Pots compost sack. And I really do like this cover because not only does it keep the critters out, but it also really helps keep the heat and the moisture in the sack. The compost pile is smelling nice and earthy already. Oh, I just love that smell. Well, when you're maintaining a hot compost pile, there's 3 keys to success. You want to monitor the temperature of the pile, the moisture, and the air. So I can feel that it's hot already just by holding my hand over the pile, but we are going to get a more accurate reading of the temperature with my compost thermometer, and I'm also going to show you how to do it with a piece of rebar. So first, we're just going to check to see if the pile is getting hot with a simple piece of rebar. You can use anything that's metal that conducts heat. We'll just put it down into the middle of the pile, let it sit for a few moments, and if we pull it out when it's hot, that means our pile is hot. The optimal temperature to keep the microbes happy is 130 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. At this temperature, they're reproducing quickly, eating the organic matter, and it's also hot enough to kill most weed seeds and harmful bacteria. So to get a more accurate reading, we're going to use a compost thermometer. Now, if you've never used one of these before, it's simply a thermometer on top of a stick that you can put in the middle of the pile to monitor the temperature. And right now, it's about 60 degrees, because that's what it is outside today. So let's pop it in the middle of the pile and see how hot it is. So let's just put our compost thermometer right into the middle of the pile. So the middle of the pile is where it's the hottest. Wow, look, it's already going up so fast. It's already passing 100 degrees, heading up towards 120. It's definitely in the steady and active zone, which is a good sign. I push it down a little bit further. Just past 130, moving on up towards 140, definitely in the hot zone. Well, I am super excited that my pile is heating up to 140 degrees. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Isn't this dangerous? Isn't my pile going to catch on fire? And the answer is no. 130 to 140 degrees is not hot enough for your pile to catch on fire. Once it gets into the 170 to 180 degree range, then you need to be worried, but we're definitely going to be monitoring this pile every day to see what the temperature is. And if it gets over 150 degrees, we're going to break it open with a shovel to aerate it and cool it down to a safe temperature. Now, let's take a look at the piece of rebar. I'm just going to pull it out. Wow, it is steaming hot. The end of it feels nice and warm. So that's a super simple way to tell me that my pile is getting hot. If you're having trouble with your compost pile not getting hot, add some more green materials. This would be food scraps from your kitchen, fresh leaves from your trees, or my favorite is coffee grounds because they're already nice and small. You could just mix them right into your pile to help get your pile cooking. Monitoring the temperature is the first key to success in hot composting that will break down faster. So I'm going to monitor the temperature daily with my compost thermometer or with my rebar. When the temperature drops down below 110 degrees or when my rebar is no longer hot when I pull it out, I'm going to turn the pile, which will introduce some air, which is the second key to success in hot composting. Now when you turn your pile, it aerates it, helps it heat up again, and really kick-starts those microbes back into action. So I'll come back and do that on another video, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. The third key to maintaining a successful hot compost pile is to monitor the moisture. You don't want it to be too dry because then the microbes will die. You don't want it to be too wet because then your pile could go anaerobic, which means you have harmful bacteria in the pile. So if you notice a foul odor, that probably means that your pile is too moist, in which case you can add more browns, more dried leaves to help absorb the moisture. Now, if your pile looks too dry, you'll definitely want to add some more water to it. And mine looks just about right, but I will be monitoring that along with the temperature and then adding water as needed. Well, there you have it, 3 keys to maintaining a successful hot compost pile. Monitoring the temperature, making sure your soil has the right moisture level, and making sure it has the right airflow so that it stays hot and breaks down into beautiful black garden gold to feed your vegetables. So we're gonna come back later and do that 3rd video on how to turn the pile. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Comment below, let me know how composting is going in your garden. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.